They regain, they battle, they play, they assist, they can score goals, they do everything. And of course, when you got three players that they are working for 90 minutes, that's something very important for any team. So I think that's the main thing today that we need to talk about. Of course, Man United, they will get it, they will find a way. But today they just found themselves outplayed. They couldn't even manage the rhythm of Liverpool. And in the moment that they tried to arrive to that midfielder, the 3-4 midfielders, because even Diaz and Jota were working very hard to try to regain the ball, to press higher on the field. They just couldn't get out of their position. So we are talking about a 3-0, but as Steve was mentioning, it could have been 2 or 3 more goals.
I'm slightly the opposite here. I don't want to be down on a player, but at the end of the day, our job is to analyse. And unfortunately, and I thought he'd come back pre-season, Casemiro looked a little trimmer, maybe he was, but I think it's an unfortunate consequence of just getting older, and the game gets quicker, is that I just don't think he can do it. I think he could maybe come in now and again, and the odd cup game, and maybe for suspensions, but I just think he can't do it. I just don't think he's going to get through an experience alone. I don't. I mean, you look at the work rate of that Liverpool midfield, you look at the work rate of the Manchester City midfield, you look at the work rate of the Arsenal midfield. You know, if we're just talking about England, we're talking about these teams that United are aspiring to get back in amongst. You can't carry anybody in there. You can't have people that can't run about. It's not only he can't run about, he's making mistakes on the ball now. So that's a double-edged sword for him. And yes, Ugarte will play. I think we'll see Casemiro being phased out. But again, it goes back to the consequential decisions of giving a guy not a 3-year deal, but a 5-year deal on huge money. And so you're left with this sort of scenario where a player is struggling, but has I think 3 years left on a contract on huge wages. And so there's another problem for them. But the initial problem is not financial, it's on the field. And I think ultimately he's going to find himself playing less games and not more games, because he's at that time of his career now. He's just struggling, particularly in his position. His position for a decade plus has been covering every blade of grass, covering fullbacks, covering centre-backs, covering the fullbacks. And
there's nowhere to hide.
That takes its toll. Not only does it take its toll because you're probably working as hard as anybody in the team, you're the enforcer, which is what Luka Modric and Toni Kroos said when he left Real Madrid. Thanks very much for being the bodyguard. He was everybody's bodyguard. But it takes its toll. And he's at United now where he's exposed. He's exposed to poorer players who are making more mistakes. The game is more open, and he's getting left with huge gaps that he has to cover. He can't do it. And I think, unfortunately for him, and United, that is just a huge problem. But it's not their only problem. But from Casemiro's perspective, I honestly think we're going to see him in a United shirt less and less.
We find ourselves in a pretty familiar situation when it comes to Manchester United.